Good evening, distinguished colleagues, esteemed participants. I'm glad to welcome you all to our today's conference, and I would like to tell you about our experience in using BIM360 as a unified environment involving stakeholders for building a hotel at 25 Dolgorukovskaya ulica at Moscow, in Moscow. This is the location of the site of the facility. It is located between Novoslobodskaya and Mayakovskaya subway stations, and its key feature is that we need to integrate it to the existing development of the city, which has on its surface many historic monuments, and the design itself was performed by Apex company, and it was a complicated project, but they delivered a successful design, and you see the pictures of the future site of a future facility presented by the designer. You see information models in these slides on architecture, on structures and networks and communications. The model is quite detailed. The architecture involves many black elements. That means that many structures and elements were included in the model, and it is good news because it helped to reflect all the elements. And here you see this picture from your mobile phone. You can download the existing model, one of the versions. You can use this QR code and use your mobile device to look at this model. Just a few more moments for you to be able to plunge into new cutting-edge technologies. BIM360. What is the application area in this particular project? We started from the requirement of the customer. He wanted to have a unified environment, and he used Vault as a collaboration environment. Then we suggested using the BIM360 cloud solution to be able to work in a unified information space connecting designer, contractor, and consultant, meaning PSS, Crytek, and we remain the consultant in this project currently. What are the advantages of using BIM360 at this particular project? There are a few of them. First of all, it's quick connection of users. We don't need to have a verification process. You just need an email, a login, and a passcode, which gives you access to a very detailed environment. Forming comments to documents and activities with further transparent approval process in a unified network. There is a number of advantages which is relevant for builders. They are able to view documentation and models, and it's possible without installing any additional software or using PDF files. Right distribution is always simple within the system. It's possible to plan access rights for our users, for our employees involved in the process. And we also provide access from mobile devices. What did we do within the project? We implemented the process of documentation approval, managing comments, submitting documentation to the construction site, and management of comments from the site. Now the solution exists within an application for iOS or Android. For those of you who are already familiar with the solution, you probably remember its interface a year ago. We remember there were several applications, and we didn't understand actually what they were for, what their purpose was. And now you see the QR codes for the two applications that have now been unified. Approval scheme. designer puts documents to a unified BIM360 cloud platform, and this document was shared with builders, with building oversight and consumer. And the approval process looked the following: all the comments from builders and oversight were accumulated by the customer and then transferred to designer. After modifications, the designer put data back to the environment, and the cycle repeated itself. After that, when everything was approved, the customer put the approved version to the unified environment. So this is the interface. You see that there is a map structure, a folder structure with access rights, and the files uploaded to the system are represented in this slide. You can track the history of each document, and you can see all the comments and all the workflow for particular drawings. And you see that there is a spot showing possible deviations that were commented. The advantages of the system allowed us to use a traffic light system with those comments showing and tracking the status of each comment, open and closed tickets, as well as tickets under process.
Now, a couple of words about comments about the project. Now, BIM360 build is very handy. It's a handy tool to offer comments from construction site. What are the main advantages? Communication is faster. You don't need to wait. Everything is now in the system immediately. All the info available to all stakeholders, builders, managers. Managers, by the way, have access to report capabilities for any day, any site, and it helps them to react faster. But it's not the only function of BIM360. We try to use the platform's capabilities as widely as possible. But constructors are rather conservative, and they are not always ready to switch to something new. They don't necessarily understand why they have to bring a tablet on site with them. And I'd like to illustrate how we can deal with comments, how we can comment something, because, you know, everybody has a smartphone these days, and you can install an app. I have a video. You can select in project structure a document, the document that we need. We have access to the full list of comments, then filter them by type, assign subtypes, what this comment regards, then assign a responsible person, set a deadline, and select an option how to solve this issue. There's a drop-down list. You can select one of the options, and you can also attach pictures from your gallery or from your camera immediately from your smartphone. And this is how you create a request. There are not so many steps that you need to take in order to fill everything out. And as you can see, everything can be done using your smartphone. And talking about the general list of comments, can you launch the video again? You see a single structure of all the comments. And there's also flexible search capabilities. You can filter them by project, by construction work, by comment provider, and then export them into PDF, supported by any device these days, or CSV to process this data on your computer. And for each comment, we can get a comment card with all the activities, who did what and when. Everything that has happened with this comment until now is reflected in this comment card. It ensures transparency and gives you full control that you need during the construction phase. I've already mentioned report generation capabilities. Right now, the platform cannot change the interface, the way it looks, but it's still a first step towards electronic document management that has been long with us, well, long with me at least, but it hasn't been a traditional common practice for a very long. So what are the advantages of BIM360 on construction site? First of all, unified document management system. It's a thing of the past when constructors use outdated drawings on construction site. It cannot happen anymore. Everybody is working with up-to-date documents. Contractors scan and upload all the as-built documentation, and with all the necessary stamps. All the documentation is available to all the stakeholders, together with all the minutes of meeting, protocols, scanned documents, and it's possible to keep them, to store them, either in an editable format or as an image. And it also gives you different control and management tools. You can represent the results as a dashboard for your client. Gives them a easy-to-use format. Again, we always carry our smartphones around, so information is at our fingertips. And this is not the complete list of advantages. The system functionality can be expanded even further, and I think that we are going to tap this potential fully in the future. This is, in brief, what we have done, what we have achieved, and I thank you for listening.